Hello and welcome once again to the Small YouTuber Show. I'm your host, Mr. Johnny25, and on this show, we are all about gaining our master's degree and all things YouTubery, and I am looking forward to spending some quality time with you wonderful people here today. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for checking it out. We are so grateful to you for you watching after the event. And also, thank you so much for those wonderful replays. You're helping me with my public watch hours. So thank you so much. I really do hope the things that we talk about today in this stream really help you to grow and to be able to gain new experiences on YouTube. So let me quickly say hello. I believe we are low in numbers at the moment, but I hope that quite a few more people will come through and say hello to me as the stream carries on. I am so grateful to you, RNA Legacy. Thank you so much. And for Christina Flourishing, I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here today. We are going to have an amazing show. I can tell you right now that the guest that we have on the show today, wow, we are going to be having some real discussions today. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Oh, I'm just telling you that now, purely and simply because the discussions that we're going to have are going to be on a whole new level, and I'm really looking forward to you guys just being here, hanging out with us. It's going to be next level. Sarah King Kitchen, welcome to the stream, and also to you, D Authentic Lynn. How are you doing? My wife, believe it or not, my wife was sleeping. I went into the room to say hi, and her and my son were sleeping. So thank you so much. You woke up. Maybe I woke you up. I don't know, but my wonderful friends, we have a new layout. You're probably wondering what's going on. Well, guys, last week I took a break. In all complete honesty, I had hit a brick wall. I had to follow my own example. I basically gave advice. I said, you know what, if you are struggling to find content, or if you're struggling to, continue out, or you lose your joy, take a break. Take a very good break. And if you do that, it will give you clear eyes, clear mindset, and it will get you ready and prepared for what you're going to be doing next. So what I did instead was I started doing some videos, and I really enjoyed creating videos, editing them, posting them. It's been a really amazing experience. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great. So I am so grateful that I took the time out, because obviously if I was focusing on my live streams, it would have been a little bit more intensive. But actually, I focused primarily on doing some videos. And yes, man, I've had people going, Johnny, you just like dropping videos every day. Wasn't that? I was dropping videos, but they weren't here every day. They every other day. But yeah, it was still pretty insane. Hello, Cruise family. Welcome to the stream. And Candidly V is in the background. Now, Candidly V, are we on the same wavelength? Are we in tune somehow? How is it that we both drop an identical video? We didn't talk to each other. There was no communication between us, and yet we both dropped an identical video. I do not get it. I don't understand. How did that happen, that we both drop a trailer video? It was just so bizarre. I dropped one earlier in the day, then I go over and I check yours out, and I'm like, that's a trailer video. So great minds think alike, don't they? But thank you so much for being here and supporting my stream. Guys, as I said, we have got an amazing guest who's going to be on the show today, and I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. I'm hoping a few other people will walk through the door. I'm hoping they will. If they don't, then we will just carry on. But I'm hoping that a few other people will walk through the door and say hi. And because all I can say to you is this, is that the guest we have, we are in for a really, really good, amazing experience. I'm looking forward to that. So, as I said, thank you so much, guys, to you that are here already. I really do appreciate you. As I said, it has been a good few, obviously, I've not done a live now for nearly 2 weeks. No, I know I definitely missed a whole week off, but yeah, I missed a week, and I'm slowly getting back into the scheme of things. It's not been easy because, as I said, I burnt myself out. I have done quite literally live streams consistently Monday, Wednesday, and Friday without fail for 6 months. And I literally hit a brick wall, and I was like, yeah, I no longer can, I have to take a break. I need to unwind, get my mindset. But I got bored very, very quickly. And in the end, what did I have to do? I started doing videos. Hello, Shanita Marie Randomly. Oh, by the way, guys, if you have not seen Shanita Marie Randomly's video, she does a very good take on me. She says, hello and welcome to the Small YouTube Show. I think you're wearing a stocking on your head to symbolize my baldness. Is that right, Shanita? That's what I want to know. Are you wearing a stocking on your head to hide your own hair and to make me look nice and bald? Yeah, no, it's crazy though. Honestly, I can't believe we both did a very similar video at the same time. It's quite amazing. But anyway, guys, I think we are gonna carry on with this chat because I think that we're ready. I think we are ready now to unleash. Woof. Are you ready? That's what I'm saying. I hope you are ready because we are in for an absolutely amazing show. And I'm really looking forward to it. So Travel Hacking Life, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. If you were looking for me last week, I was in hiding. I burnt myself out. So I said I'd take a week off and get myself back on track. And here I am. Right, okay, so wonderful, amazing people. I've got some things here I'm going to read out because wonderful people of the stream. I have an amazing individual on the show today. Smart, intelligent, charismatic, articulate. The plaudits are endless. Yes, they are. But if you don't know who my guest is today, let me quickly remind you of some of the fantastic content titles that this man has on his stream, on his own channel. There are things like how to stop overthinking, how to reprogram the mind, how to stop caring what other people think, the law of attraction, how to stay motivated, how to stay grounded through chaos. Toxic people need to go. Woof, guys, those subjects alone require discussion, do they not? But the one that I wanted to talk about the most, and you've probably seen it in the thumbnail, is do we live in the Matrix? So, in the voice of Morpheus himself, I give to you Tyce Chamberlain.
Oh, thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that welcome introduction. I think you spoke too much of me, but I appreciate you, brother. You make a brown guy kind of blush a little bit, so I don't know what to think about that. But
I have to give you all due respect. I think that's the sort of introduction you give to a man of your caliber. Very quickly, 49 Cent, Rage, Hamilton, and Sash and Ian, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you. And also Universal Parji, hello. There are some lovely people in the stream. Thank you so much. But, and I say but, before I continue with my speech, before we continue with the conversation, there were a few ladies here in the stream that as I put you on my, the screen, as you shared the screen with me, they went, Yes, they did. They definitely did. These ladies were very interested to see you on the screen. So we are looking forward to spending some quality time with you today. As you may know, obviously, Tyce, this is an audience participation show. So there is going to be questions from me and also questions from our lovely distinguished guests. So I hope you guys have got your questions ready, and I hope that we are going to be having a really good discussion. There are so many things that we could talk about, but what I thought would be a really good idea would be for you to tell us a little bit about you, Tyce. Just give us, tell us a little bit about who you are, and how you got to where you are right now. If you would kindly do that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks again for allowing me to be on your show. I can't tell you how much of an honor it is. And hello to everyone out there. I appreciate everyone being here as well.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, just a little bit about myself.
Yeah.
I was born in Western Samoa. I was adopted at an extremely young age and brought into the stateside. So I've lived the majority of my life in Utah, in the USA. And I'm the youngest of four. Every single one of my siblings is adopted from many different nationalities and backgrounds.
Wow.
And the parents who adopted us was a beautiful white family. So you can picture us walking down in a grocery store at the type of looks that we would get when I would say, Dad. And, my dad looks around and says, hey, so just to give you guys a little bit of background from the States. And then, what kind of got me into the type of topics that I'm diving deep into is just, just looking for ways to expand my mind. Went through a lot of rough patches like everyone does growing up. And so I wanted to share my experiences, in hopes that it might inspire people. And I've made it a mission of mine to do everything I can to, help out where I can, help people find out who they truly are, and to find that divine beast and to have people go after their dreams and goals. So.
Wow. So, I mean, to be honest with you, just in that conversation alone, there are questions that I would probably love to dig deep into. Just your upbringing, your understanding of who you are as a human being, because obviously, as you said, you were, raised in a multicultural family, and how that would have impacted on you. Wow, there are so many questions, but I can't hog the screen. I've literally asked you about, what I would ask you actually, because I think it's quite interesting, because you did say it in your introduction. How has that molded you then in terms of your ability to understand different people? Has it helped because you grew up around, what was the makeup of your adopted brothers and sisters? What were they? What races were they on?
Yeah, 100%. So like I said, the youngest of four, my oldest sister, she's part Indian.
Wow.
And part, African-American.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a brother who was born deaf, and he is part Indian, part Hispanic as well. And then another little sister. I call them little because I'm the biggest out of all of them. So, I have a sister who's part Indian and part Eskimo.
Wow. Wow.
And just to kind of frame this up a little bit, I grew up in a small town called Lehigh, which was more of a cowboy town.
Okay.
And so got to witness a lot growing up. A lot of, just because we're all from different backgrounds and ethnicities, and my parents, are Caucasian, they're white. Amazing parents, absolutely love them to death, but I definitely saw a lot of different sides, in terms of like judgment, attachments, things of this nature. And, so like I said, every one of my videos, I'm pulling from experience. I would never share anything outside of that. And it's all about just being as authentic as I possibly can be. I know I'm kind of putting myself out there, but I'm all about, your vibe attracts your tribe. So
yeah. So I've got to say, there's been a few comments already from The Rock has got interviewed, and 49-cent Rage Hamilton has said, if you smell what The Rock is cooking. So I take it that there are quite a few people who can see or hear a similarity to The Rock.
Yeah, I've got a funny story about that. So I was in Chicago doing some work, and I was just having a beer at a bar. I was just having a good time, and there was a pretty rowdy crowd that came in, and they obviously had some drinks, and they kept on staring at me because I was just there by myself. And I was just having a good time. Next thing I knew, like 4 guys approached me, and I'm like, oh, you know, is this going to go down? Like, I wasn't quite sure what happened.
Yeah.
And it was funny because one of the guys was like just a little bit nervous, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? What's happening? And they're like, dude, you look just like Dwayne Johnson. Like, are you The Rock? Like, you know, and I'm sitting there looking at myself, and I'm like, no, I'm just this stunt devil. So I actually got a whole bunch of free drinks out of that. They were taking
that's good.
Me. I was just having good fun, but
so you turned a potentially negative situation into a positive with humor.
Absolutely.
Just very, very quickly, Modest Nation, hello, and Grethel loves to share. Welcome to the stream. And can I just say, Grethel, that comment that you left on my latest video, I really do appreciate that. So thank you so much. That's one thing that really helps us as content creators at comments. If you can leave good comments, it really does help to, you know, give you the confidence to keep going. So thank you so much. And Robin 101, welcome to the stream as well. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much. So can I ask you then, what connection do you have to your Western Samoan culture?
Oh, it's a great question. So my family was very cognizant, very understanding of my culture. And so the family that actually helped them adopt me to bring me back from Samoa is a poly family, you know, is from Samoa as well. And so I grew up with, you know, with that family, and they would teach me the roots, my culture and things of that nature. And just growing up in kind of a more cowboy town, you know, the hat just didn't look good on me. The cowboy hat didn't look good on me. So I actually, you know, did some of, I'm big into due diligence. I'm big into like finding out how stuff works.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just started diving into my culture, and just being adopted myself, it just, I don't know, it gave me that passion to really find out where my roots are and what that's all about. So
did that ever did you ever decide to go there and maybe, you know, immerse yourself in the actual culture of the island? I mean, have you been there and, you know, had that kind of connection?
No, great question. It's definitely on my bucket list. I definitely want to go back. I actually reconnected with my birth mom years ago. Yeah. Wow. And so, you know, there's so many just things about my life that I want to be able to share with the world, you know, because a lot of people, they don't hear about this other side of adoption and things of that nature. Yeah. So I thought I was going to be flying to Samoa to meet her, but she actually lives in a wonderful land called Hawaii.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so we had to go to Hawaii to see her, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I took my family with me, and I got reconnected with my birth mom a couple years back, and that was a trip. That was a trip.
So I've just seen a comment from Robin, who said, I thought Tyce was supposed to be in Tomorrow with Candidly V. Is that something that you'd like to maybe let the everyone know?
Yes, my apologies, especially to you, Candidly V. I was trying to move some clients around, and unfortunately, I was unable to do so. But I would be honored to be on your show. So whenever we can make that happen, that would be fantastic. So my apologies about that.
Yeah, and guys, just to very quickly let you know, Candidly V will be my guest on Friday. I will be turning the camera on her on Friday, where I will be putting her in the hot seat. So thank you so much for that question. If you have any questions specifically for I'm about to say for The Rock there, for Tyce, please would you kindly drop them in the chat, and I'll do my very best to put them onto the screen. So guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, let me know. You know, we do have a discussion. We are going to have a great discussion. I believe that there is a lot of things that we are going to learn. Obviously, at the moment, we're just laying down the foundations. We're just talking about, you know, Tyce as a human, as a man, you know, what's his background. So Mrs. Morrison said, are you a personal trainer?
Okay, so to give you a little background, no, I am not. I would love to be, though, at one point in time. But I would say about 5-6 years ago, I was getting big into bodybuilding and powerlifting, lifting heavy, was just with a group of people that worked out like 2-3 times a day. Really crazy, really insane and stupid, if you ask me now. But that's how motivated we were. And then I had something happen to me where I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. I don't know if any of you know what that
No,
is.
I've not heard of that. No.
Okay, it's just to keep it simple, it's something that can attack your feet. It's a buildup of inflammation. So basically every morning when I would wake up, I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't even walk for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Wow.
And then once I got going, everything was fine, but I would repeat this for about 3.5 years. And I just thought, well, this is just what I'm going to have to deal with. So I went to go see different specialists. I'm from the USA, so I grew up in Western medicine. So I went to go see doctors, anyone you could think about that could help me with this prognosis.
Yeah.
And the two responses I got back was, you're either going to need major surgery, and you'll never be the same, which I wasn't a fan of that, or you've got to stay off your feet for about a year or two in a wheelchair. And my ego just couldn't handle that either.
No.
So I decided, I was just going to have to live with the pain. I actually ran into a colleague of mine who said, hey, you should go see a foot zone therapist. Now, mind you, I have no idea what the heck a foot zone therapist is. I don't know voodoo witch. I don't know what it is. And I didn't know what to expect. But when someone's been through a lot of pain, you're willing to do whatever to get back.
Yeah.
Right. And so I decided to go check it out. And in that session, I remember the gal looking at me as she's giving the foot zoning and stuff. And I told her what I had. And she said with complete confidence as she looked at me, oh, yeah, I helped you with that. You shouldn't deal with that anymore. So you can imagine how I felt at that moment, which is, let me get out of here and never come back, because this is just Looney Tune crazy, right?
Yeah.
And I kid you not, Johnny, I kid you not. My wife can testify to this. I woke up the next morning and the pain was gone.
Wow.
And after dealing with something for 3.5 years, that you don't do that. I was absolutely pissed that I didn't have any pain, because then I knew something was there. And so that kind of led me down a different path from bodybuilding, strongman. I think the good Lord upstairs just kind of hit me on the head and said, you're meant to go down this path, man. You're meant to do this. So whatever you think you need to do, that's not it. You're not going to be the Rock's second. You need to go take another route, buddy. So.
Wow. So, I mean, that is amazing. And to be honest with you, at least you have, that's a great story, and you're living proof of it. You're still active. You're still able to do things, which is really, really good. I've just put on there that DT for you has said nice tattoos. I saw, I think it was an Instagram post of of the sleeve. Wow, that must have taken. I mean, I don't like pain, but is there, obviously, I'm assuming there must be some kind of a Samoan link to the tattoos of some kind.
So this right here is my lion. He's in tribal. This is, I consider, a spirit animal, and the significance of what a lion means to me is a leadership role. And every part of my tattoo is symbolic. This word right here, I won't take off my shirt. I probably won't hear the end of it. But, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
So this says Samoa across the heart. I'll keep the shirt on. Got to keep it rated G here.
Yes.
But yeah, everything is symbolic of my culture and the island. Back in the day when the Polynesian cultures, Tonga, Samoa, they were battling back and forth. That's how we identified each other, was from our colors and our symbolism. So I carry the ancestors with me.
So I just looked through the chat. I can see that RNA said, "Have you gone back home?" But obviously, that I don't know if you heard. That's on his list of things that he wants to do.
100%.
So Grethel Loves to Share has said, I thought at first that you were Filipino. So let me ask you then, do you get labeled Hispanic? Do people question you and say you're, could be just mixed race with black and white? Or, I mean, what do people think you are?
That's a good question. Once again, when I was in Chicago, just walking on the streets, I had someone just approach me, super weird. I get this all the time. People just approach me and start talking to me. And this person said, they kept looking at me all weird. And they're like, bro, what are you? And I'm like, well, I'm human. Let's get that out. And I said, I'm from Western Samoa. And they said, is that a part of Mexico?
Oh, my goodness.
And I was just like, no. And he's like, you look like a big Hispanic to me. And I said, do you know who Dwayne Johnson is? He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's who you look like. I was like, okay, Dwayne is part Samoan and part black. So we come from
is that right? I didn't know that. I didn't realize he was mixed. I thought he was from, so he's dual nationality. Okay, I didn't know that. Ah, his father was a wrestler. Isn't that right?
There you go.
Yes, I know exactly who you, yeah, okay. So the Javier Lifestyle, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. I don't know if you saw in there, but DT for you had actually said take it off. So she was interested in you showing purely and simply for educational purposes.
Oh, of course.
DT for you wanted you to show all of your tattoos, but obviously you've given a good explanation as to the history, the story behind your pat. So thank you so much for doing that. Hello, remote guys. Thank you so much. You have a great sense of humor. So you have that's a lovely comment. You have a great sense of humor, and I think you do need to have that, don't you? Obviously, you know, you've had your upbringing has been, you know, crazy in a way, but you're very fortunate that you did have parents that, you know, looked after you, took care of you. But I'm gonna ask, because keeping in mind when you came into my world, I saw your content and was like, what is this? I was seriously, I was like, I'm not quite sure where we're going with this, but I'm gonna find out in the live stream. So obviously I mentioned a couple of your titles. We talked about how to reprogram the mind. Now, I don't know if you would mind maybe just talking a little bit about some of the advice that you've given to your clients, or some of the advice that you'd give to people in the stream, in terms of why would I want to reprogram my mind? What you know, give me the why. Why do I need to?
Hey guys, no, I think it's great. It's something I get asked quite a bit, actually. And for me, like I said, I only pull from experience in my journey. But I remember just growing up and just having a loss of identity, not quite sure who I was, and was just being told who I was. You know, and so everyone who is, you know, born, you're brought up with family, grandparents, whatever the case might be, and you kind of adopt, you know, certain belief systems. You kind of adopt, you know, based on the environmental conditions, based on social conditions, everything. You just kind of adopt, you know, just things in your life, and that's just how it is. So you guys may have heard, you know, doctors and people explaining to you that the most critical years for a child is at birth until about 7 years of age. And you've got to ask yourself why. And it's because we're like a sponge, okay? We're retaining everything we see, experience, you know, and then how we have been taught, how we were disciplined, and we just kind of adopt that into our subconscious mind as this is our reality. You know, as we get older, we still carry that with us because it's at a sub level. You know, we're just consciously going about our days. And so when I start talking about how to reprogram the subconscious mind, it's more about how to reset a new foundation that'll help you get to where you want to go now in life. Because everyone who I talk to, they always share with me, and I've talked with a lot of successful people who make a lot of money, but they're not happy. You know, I've talked with a lot of, you know, individuals who are, you know, in poverty, and they're super happy. You know, so like for me, it's like, how does that operate? Because I was taught that you go to school, you get a job, you work your butt off, you know, and then you could potentially make it. Well, I started thinking, make what? Like, what am I making here? You know, so just to get back to the original question, I started to investigate, you know, how can I change the foundation of my subconscious to work with me? So not to get too deep into the woods, but consciously, every second we download about 52 bits of data a second. Subconsciously, you're downloading billions of bits a second, okay? So I thought in my head, if there's a way for us to tap into, to break the matrix, so to speak, and to tap into the subconscious mind, right? Yeah, I'm gonna swallow that pill and just figure out what the hell's going on here, you know, and just start working it that way. So it's more so just understanding that, you know, you are not your social conditioning, how you were brought up. If you want to go and be someone, you know, you can actually make that difference. You just have to start with understanding, you know, you've got to start working with your sub levels. The best way to start doing that is to just start being aware. being aware of like your thoughts, when you're looking at something, be aware of what you do. The human race is a habitual species, which we fall into our patterns, and then we do this day in and day out. You're surrounded with the same environments, so you have the same type of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you break that? Change your environment, change your way of being, and bring more awareness into your life. So anyways, I could talk about this all day long.
No, I know. I mean, to be honest, it's really fascinating. I put on the screen that Remote said you helped me with my videos, so which is amazing. So, fantastic. That's really good. We are small YouTubers and we all want to help each other. And this is the format. If we can do that, not just with, subscribers, not just with if you can get educated, if you can be trained, if you can learn, it's a powerful thing. You can learn so much on in places like here, content creators who have the knowledge. They may not have millions of subscribers, but it doesn't mean they're stupid. It doesn't mean they don't have the knowledge. They have the knowledge, and we're just trying to get it out there to as many people as we can. So what you're basically saying is, from 0 to 7, we are programmed. We learn certain things and they are embedded into us. And in many ways, probably some of those things may be good. Some of those things could potentially be bad. So reprogramming the mind is delving into the subconscious part where we absorb information that we don't even know. We do it at the subconscious level. There are things that we do. And I remember someone saying to me once that, have you ever got in your car and driven from work to home and not remembered doing it?
There you go.
Not had any memory of it. And I remember certain bits, and I can only assume that my brain went into autopilot. So I knew to change gear, I knew to brake, I knew to slow down, I knew when to speed up, but my brain was elsewhere, and I just carried on driving. I got home safely, but I have no recollection of it. And I can only assume that there are certain bits of our brain that can work without our knowledge. And I suppose that's probably where you tap in and you talk about those kind of things. So I've just seen that RNA Legacy has just put on here, your videos are very inspiring. That's a very powerful statement. So you can see there, if you have the power to do so, if you have the power to do things that can help, it's an amazing thing. Helping Hands, Wonder of the World, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We have on the screen the amazing Tyce Chamberlain, who is here with us today. And if you don't know him, go over and check out his content. Really good videos. There's some amazing stuff being created on his channel. So obviously I was talking about, I mentioned how to reprogram the mind. Let's go on to the next one. How to stop caring what other people think. Now, I know it may sound quite silly, and there'll be lots of people say, well, I don't care what people think. But it's quite surprising how many people care about what people think. Now, if you think to yourself, and I use this as an example, if I said to you right now, get your camera and go and start filming yourself in a really busy mall, the cooking area where everyone's eating, the eating area where everyone's watching, and I want you to get your camera and I want you to start talking to your camera, a lot of people would not be able to do it. And the reason they wouldn't be able to do it is because they care about what people think. So it's a very strange, I know it's not obviously there are lots of other ways, but would you talk to us about how do we not let that happen? How do we do that, if that makes sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. It kind of goes back to what I talked about a little bit of our social conditioning, because when you grow up, you're told who you are. You're told what you need to do. You're told, sometimes children should be seen and not heard. I mean, so there's so many things that we're told as a child that carry with us as an adult that, to take your scenario and to say, hey, go take this camera, don't be scared now, and go walk in like a big auditorium where the people are there and everyone's looking at you. Yeah. Of course you're going to feel that heat and things of that nature. Yeah. And there's a human element, and so what I would say is that for me, it's when you're at your most authentic self, okay, that's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean by that, authentic self?
So the way I look at this is that there's three parts of you. Okay. There's the part of you that, you know, people around you, coworkers and things like that, they know you for that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have a perception of what they believe who you are. Okay. And then you go visit your close family and friends, you know, they know who you are. It's different than who your coworkers know who you are. Then when you're by yourself and no one's looking at you, you know who you are. So for me, to be who you are, your authentic self, when you're by yourself, no matter the conditions, no matter the environment, no matter if you're talking to friends and family, if you're talking to complete strangers, just be you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but majority of people are drawn to that because they can feel the authenticity part of you. They can feel that, and they connect to something bigger, which is not the persona. You know, persona in Latin is a mask. Okay. Mm-hmm. So our personality is sometimes masked with who we truly are because we're trying to amends, right, an identity that other people want us to be. Mm-hmm. And that's not necessarily who we truly are, because it actually takes a lot of energy to be something you're not, even if people want very that true. To be you. So.
Yeah, very, very true. Remote, I'm going to very quickly answer. You said, what type of content should I make? What's your niche? If you would let us know what your niche is, what's your hobbies? What do you enjoy doing? What are the sort of things that you find fun? If you let us know in the chat, then we may be able to give you an answer as to what content you should be making, because it's really, you want to be making content that you enjoy doing. If you can make content that you are good at and enjoy doing, I can guarantee you'll enjoy it. You'll never get bored, and you'll just enjoy the process. So definitely, it's not for us to tell you what content you should make, but it's definitely you need to do what's good for you. That makes sense. I hope that answered your question. But obviously, you need to know what your niche is. What are you good at? It says, oh, there's another question here. This question is from Grethel Love to Share. Have you written a book?
It's actually in the works. There's many different books and volumes and things of that nature that I'd love to write. One of them has to do with adoption and the reconnection. I think it's really important. You don't really see books like that going out there. Another book is basically me discovering me, finding out who I am, thinking I was a bodybuilder, a strongman lifter, and now I'm just helping people, healing people through different means, which I never thought I was doing. If you were to tell me I was going to be doing what I'm doing and being a YouTube content creator as well, 5 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. Just thought that was.
I would have laughed in your face 6 months ago.
Yeah, there you go, man. See. So, but no, that's a great question. I actually had there was an author by the name of Richard Paul Evans. He lives in Utah as well, and we just crossed paths. And he's a very famous author. Mm-hmm. He actually talked with me in great length, and he wrote a story kind of about my adoption a little bit in some of his books, and asked permission if he could do that, and so he had shared with me and inspired me to kind of look down the, writing a book. It's just finding the time to do it,
Obviously you are making videos now, you're enjoying it, you're seeing the fruitage, you're seeing the blessings, you're seeing what's coming back, because on day one, so let's go back to day one, before you even made one video. So you've not made a video at all, you've not done any content creating, and you're at day one. Did you believe that your content would be well received?
I didn't know. I had no idea, because going back to what I talked to you about before, people had a different perception of who I am, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was just me putting myself out there. I had no idea, but I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it 100%, and we'll see what happens, and we'll live with the results, Mm-hmm. So I think I don't know if it's the same with everyone, but looking back at my first 3-4 videos, I just kind of go, eh. but I think it's important.
We all do that, I can assure you.
Yeah, we're growing, and so I think the hardest thing to do as a content creator is to just hit that upload button You know,
Yeah.
it's not going to be perfect.
No.
You'll never think it's perfect. You'll judge yourself up and down, you know, throughout the whole calendar year. And the most important thing is just to hit upload, live with the results, and continue to move forward, you know? So, but I had no idea how it would be received, and just feel truly blessed and honored, you know, just to be on your show, brother. Seriously.
Thank you. I mean, the thing is, I think it's a really, really good question from Gretel, because obviously you have made content, you've made some videos, you've got some good, you know, good views. A lot of people are really interested in what you're doing. Well, I think probably you will at some stage want to get that on paper, get that down, get that written down, because I think it would be a really, really good read. I think a lot of people will be really interested. Yeah, you do amazing videos, and we are getting a lot of information through your content anyway. But I just think that would be really good to definitely do. So we talked about stop caring about what people think. This moves us nicely on to how to stop overthinking. So I want us to talk about that, because I think overthinking is almost impossible. We overthink on everything.
It's a really good one. And I think we overthink a lot for many different reasons, but I'll just cut to the chase and really share with you guys what's helped me along my journey, which was I discovered, now, you know, this goes back to the title of what we called your show, right? Episode 50, but I had discovered something really important, which was, you know, time is just an illusion. Okay. And I'll let you guys kind of sit into that for a little bit. But when I talk about time is just an illusion, I found out that majority of the time I was living in the past. I was living in memories of the past. And then I was sitting there thinking literally what I would have done different if given the circumstance, if given the opportunity. I was like, oh man, that guy flipped me off on the road. Next time I'd run him right off, and just, you know, this and another, right? And so I would just sit there and have this monologue just run in my head. And then I discovered something, which was, who is this within me that is keeping me in the memories of the past? Mm-hmm. Like, what is this? Because, you know, I can't really physically go into the past and change something, right? I can't physically jump to the future and change anything either, because you either are in a state of, you know, depression. If you're in a state of depression, sadness, you know, you're just having a hard time, right? And you're overthinking. More than likely, if you're honest with yourself, you're thinking of something that happened in the past, okay? That's where your state of consciousness is. Now, if you have a whole bunch of anxiety, okay, and you just can't stop thinking, you're stuck in a projected future in the present moment that doesn't even exist yet. But yet it exists in our mind, and our mind body makes it feel like it's real, right? Yeah. Yeah. And so what I discovered, and I found a book, I found an amazing guy, Eckhart Tolle, you know, was that he's all about living in the now, living in the present moment, because that is the only moment that actually exists in time and space. Now, for us as humans to conceptualize that, we're like, what are you talking about? I need to know when I need to go to work. I need to know all these things. So time's not an illusion. But the way it is in our mind, it is. We think of that as a physical thing, but time is just linear. Okay. So if you can recognize for yourself, am I in the past majority of the time? Am I projecting the future? And then just bring yourself back to the present moment. What you'll find is these realities, these little mind games, mind attacks that play in your head, stop, because you're not bringing awareness to them anymore. That's the power that all of us have, is that where you place your awareness, you know, energy flows. Okay. And so I just started focusing on my awareness and what is happening right now for me. Where do I want to see my life going? And I started to just live more in the now, a continuous motion.
So would you say then that is that could probably explain you know, depression, people, you know, anxieties? It's about how they're processing memories, or how they're
absolutely. So you can be in three states of consciousness. Let's put it this way. We'll keep it really simple here. You're either in a state of consciousness of memory, okay? So you're queuing up memories of past, future, whatever it might be, okay? Or you're in a state of inspiration. the creative part of you. Like, you know how it is. Like, people always ask me, how do you get inspired? Where do you get this? And it comes from just doing random stuff. I mean, showering. I'm in the shower just doing my thing, and all of a sudden I get inspired on what YouTube video I should put out. You know, inspiration just comes. You can't force it, right? If you're forcing it, you're living in memories. So there's a state of memory, there's a state of information, and then there's a state of absolute zero, is the way I look at it. Now, I try and live my whole life in absolute zero, which essentially means living in the now, living in the present moment.
Wow. Well, guys, I'm asking a lot of questions here. If you've got questions, please, by all means, put them in the chat. We are here. We are going to be grilling the guru that is Tyce Chamberlain. So, guys, if you have any questions, please let me know. Put it in the chat, and we will do our very, very best to answer them. Very quickly, hello to you, Xavier RCVHX22. Hello to you as well, Sally. Thank you so much for playing my playlist today, and really do appreciate that. And to anyone else who's just walked through the door, thank you so much for being here. We have with us today Tyce Chamberlain, who is just absolutely amazing. We've talked about some really fantastic subjects. I'm literally going through some of the videos that he's put up and basically trying to get him to talk about that content. So I'm just giving you a taster of what his content is. I'm really hoping that you guys will go and check him out afterwards, because it is really good. Also, if I miss a question, guys, please rewrite the question again, and I will try my very best to make sure that I answer it the second time round. I saw an earlier question about are you into music? I think that was from The Authentic Lynn. Are you into music?
100%. 100%. So
okay.
I love playing the guitar. I saw Arcs Junction asking the question if I play guitar. Absolutely. I absolutely love it. So a lot of people look at me, they're like, hey man, you're probably into reggae and all that stuff. Yeah, I totally am. Don't get me wrong. But just you guys understanding my upbringing a little bit, and just being brought up in, you know, more cowboy town, I had to rebel a little bit. So I was big into rock. I was big into rock music.
Okay.
I went to a rock concert when I was super young. Went and saw this band called Metallica. You guys might know.
Oh wow! Yes. Okay.
I was super young. There's no way I was gonna let my parents know I was going there, because there's no way they would have let me go. But I snuck my way there, and it blew my mind. It blew my mind how they could play the guitar the way they did. So
yeah,
it inspired me. And yeah, growing up, I think from 8th grade on until years after high school, I was in many different rock metal bands. We played live shows around the area, and just had a great time.
So obviously there's been a few comments that I haven't put up, but some of them are things like, I live in the now. There's, it is very, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think our past make us who we are, because obviously we are the sum of all of the things that has happened to us. Where we are, we don't live in the future. We live technically in the past, because obviously what we've done over the years accumulate. And yeah, we do probably carry things that we probably don't want to carry. I suppose those are things that will affect us. And this is why it's, it's all in our head, as they say. I saw that there was a comment from Puppet Short Films where he said, I create a script in my head when I eat, sleep, and shower. So imagine that. His creativity is coming when he's just doing other things. I can totally understand where you're coming from there, because I don't always know. It's weird. My body clock is, I'm the most alert and the most intelligent as soon as I wake up in the morning. I don't know why, but as soon as I wake up in the morning, my brain is sharp, like crystal clear. And as the day goes on, I lose it. But generally, I'm pretty switched on in the morning, which is why I do everything I can as early as possible once I've woken up, because it's where my brain works. But there are people that are completely the opposite. They're completely zoned out when they wake up, and they're like zombies. They need a coffee to wake themselves up. They need to get into the process, and then they carry on. So it's very strange. There's a question from RNA. Did you play sports growing up?
I did. Yeah.
What was your sport?
I was big into football. I was the only Samoan player on the team. So I think the coaches had great fun with me. I was pretty athletic growing up, so they had me play all positions, which I finally told the coach in one game, hey, you got to give me time to rest because I can't be out here all the time. But yeah, I absolutely love football.
This is American football, right?
American football. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And I absolutely love soccer too. Growing up, I played soccer all through, all the way up until kindergarten to 7th grade. Absolutely loved it. And then people said, you need to play football. And then I fell in love with football and fell in love with basketball. So I love sports. Absolutely love sports.
And I suppose that has given you probably having a sport or having activities, things to keep you going. Mm-hmm. Was that the reason why it kept you, on the straight and narrow, or it kept you focused? Because, as I said, when you described your upbringing and you described the things that you had to deal with, how old were you when you were adopted? How old were you?
I was just a baby. I was probably a month old.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I mean, I know it's gonna sound you may or may not understand what I'm saying here, but I always think that when things happen to you at that age, because you're not aware of what's going on, mm-hmm. It's almost better than if it happens to you later on, like within that formative years. Because you talk about 0 to 7. Obviously, I did have some really major issues going on in my life between those years, and I feel like I almost wished that I was a baby when it happened, so I could just grow up and just be normal, rather than for many, many years carrying almost like a victim. Mm-hmm. I had that victim mentality on my back because I just felt like, woe is me. I've already had the whole world throw rubbish at me, and how am I going to get through this? But in some ways, it actually drove me to keep going, because it was, well, I'm on my own here, so I'm going to have to do whatever I can to just keep going. And unfortunately, it did in many ways make me driven, and sometimes that's not always a good thing, because you also want to be able to let other people in, and you need to be able to accept help. I think that's one thing. When you grow up thinking that you're invincible, you do tend to, you do tend to try and do everything all by yourself. I just saw a comment here from RCV822. I love what he does and explain. I love and thank you for being there, my friend. I have a question now. Can you play guitar? Sometimes now. I would love to listen. Maybe for another. He'll have to do that for his show. When he does his live, he will do a rendition of, I don't know, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
There you go.
Yeah, do the intro to Californication. Yeah.
You got it. Consider that.
Yeah, do that for your video. So we're going to move on to the next topic, or the next video that you came out with, which was the law of attraction. Can you kindly talk to us a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, that's so I'll quote the great Nikola Tesla, okay, who says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. Okay. I fell in love with science growing up. I wanted to know, like I told you earlier, I wanted to know how everything worked. I wanted to know how the universe operated. I wanted to know how my universe within me operated. I just wanted to know so much, and so under heavy investigation. And what I discovered through my experience was that when I felt like, I wanted to go do something and achieve something, I wanted to be a state champion. We'll go back to just high school days. I wanted us to be a state championship team. We didn't have most talent. We didn't have, all the tools that every other team had in the nation. But I believed to my core that we were going to make this happen. And, I had the vision. I had us winning it. I had it all just within my heart. And so, what happened? We ended up being state championships when we had no business being state championships. And I got to contribute that to Nikola Tesla, because here it is, just put simply, our thoughts, we won't go that far, but your thoughts and emotions are so powerful that when you actually can focus with true intention of what you want to receive, okay, then you open yourself up and you want to feel as if you already have achieved it, because there's nothing you're really lacking on a deeper level, okay? But when you actually feel that and you connect that thought with an elevated emotion, you're drawing those experiences towards you. You're drawing whatever energy, whatever opportunities and doors will open for you to achieve that. You just got to be ready, you know? And so that's really what the law of attraction is. You know, just kind of put in simplistic terms. A lot of times people are like, the law of attraction is not working for me. Tyce, help me out, help me out. And it's because you're coming from a place of needy, feeling that you need this. There's a difference between feeling it that you already have it, because you're already whole. You're already a divine, amazing being. So you have everything you need within you, you know. So going from a place of there, instead of I need this to get me out of this situation. I need, you know, and clinging on to that identity. So
I've just seen RNA saying, you and me both, bro. What football team do you support, or who is your football team?
So ever since I got out of high school, certain political things happened to me, and I kind of chopped football out of my awareness. So I don't really watch too much football anymore. I'm more so into basketball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I do watch.
Is this all with the taking of the knee and all of that kind of link to it? Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So I kind of stopped watching it. I do support my local teams. You know, college teams, University of Utah. You know, I support them, you know, and like to help out wherever I can in that capacity. But yeah, I don't watch too much American football anymore.
And what about your basketball team? Which one's that?
So I follow individuals and players, but I gotta vote, and I gotta cheer for my Utah Jazz, man. You know,
Utah Jazz. So okay. So there's a question here from Remote. He's asked, do you play video games?
100%. 100%. In fact, it's a good thing I started doing YouTube, created content and stuff like that, or else I'd be playing video games too much. So,
what games are you playing? What sort of games do you play? What are you? You know, are you shoot 'em ups? Are you driving?
Okay, I gotta be honest here. I am stupidly good at video games. It's so dumb. I know it.
Hold on 1 second. I just need to. Where is it? I just need to, because you said it. Can you just hold on? Where is it? Can you just say that sentence again, please?
Which one?
The one about being stupidly good. I just need to.
I'm stupidly good at video games.
Right, hold on.
Really good.
I just had to do that, Trumpet, because that is one of those statements where you're like, wow, you are fully confident. You are just saying it as it is. I am stupidly good at computer games.
It's dumb. Like my wife, she'll tell you. She's like, there was a little while where I was like, should I go be a professional gamer?
Wow.
You know, because that would be fun. You know, and we thought about it for a little bit. And my little son, you know, I was having him play video games with me when he was 2.5, 3 years of age. And I was probably games that he probably shouldn't play. So I probably shouldn't say here, but he's super good at these games. And and the funny thing of it is my whole family, we all play a game called PUBG Mobile.
Right.
And we love it. We play every night until we're too tired to play. But if I'm not meditating or creating content, you know, I'm gaming it up. So.
Right. Okay. So, guys, if you are also into PUBG, go check out Tyce. Play against him or join his team.
Join my team.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I've done a video literally with almost the exact same title: How to Stay Motivated. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I created that video. It was crazy. I came out of like a long meditation. I just felt super inspired, and I had just recognized something within myself, and that's why I wanted to share that video, which was that I had a hard time being motivated. I had a hard time sticking with something. You know,
right.
I could stick with something full guns blazing, do something for about a week. After that, you know, 8th day comes around, I was done. You know, I was done. Then I was beating myself up and things of that nature. So. Mm-hmm. What really helped me just stay motivated was kind of what we talked about earlier, was just being in the present moment and not allowing myself to beat myself up for something I didn't achieve. And then if I missed a day or something, it's okay. You know, you can just pick it back up and just keep on going. I think that's the biggest thing about the human psyche is that we get so pumped up to do something. We got the endorphins going, our body's moving. We're so excited to get rolling and stuff. And then all of a sudden something just kind of throws us off our game. And then we stop doing that. And then here's the worst part. We start beating ourselves up. Okay. So there was a point in my life where I weighed like 350, 360 pounds. This was about 9
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah. My wife, when she got pregnant with our son, she was diagnosed with gestational diabetes or something like that. I'm not saying the name, but what that meant was, she was going to hold on more weight. So being the loving husband that I am, I decided to gain on the weight with her, but after she had our son, she lost all the weight. I still had a whole bunch of weight. Right? so I had to get dedicated. I had to get focused to lose the weight, and it took a lot. And there were days where I wanted to give up, and days where I just pushed through it. Mm-hmm. And I always tell myself, and this is what I'll share with you guys. I'm sure every single one of you can say this, that you've never said once in your entire life that you ever regretted working out. That you ever regretted hitting the gym. Oh, dang, I hit the gym today. I shouldn't have done that. Said no one ever said that,
No.
Just kind of have that. I have that kind of playing in my mind, and who I want to be. And so, when I came out of that meditation, I felt like I figured it out for myself at first of what would help me stay motivated. And then was something I wanted to share, with the community.
Yeah. And so when obviously doing that video, your views are really good. You're getting good comments. Your channel is growing. Is that motivating you? The fact that you are growing, has that helped in any way to maybe add to your enjoyment, to your motivation? Has that been the case for you?
It has, in a couple different ways. A lot of my content is for clients of ours who we work with through our company and things of that nature, and it's marketing material for us. And I just want to be able to help out anyone I possibly can. When I thought I was going to make it big in football, or I thought I was going to be a rock star and all these things, the big motivation for me was just to inspire people to do something, to become something that they want to be, and to see it through. Yeah. And so that was kind of the driving force for me and things of that nature. So
just there's a question here from RCVHX23, and you playing on PS4 or PC? Isn't it? I thought PUBG Mobile was on the phone.
It is. I never thought I'd play a game on the mobile, but
okay.
My son introduced me to the game about a year ago, and I've been hooked ever since.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's.
But the other games I play is on my Xbox. I play Battlefield 1 and 2K.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. So and is that? I take it that's you've been a gamer all your upbringing from when you were a kid. You were just gaming, and that's how you've just carried on into adult life.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's been many of battles and many controllers thrown against the screen in my upbringing, brother.
So talk to us about the grounding in the chaos.
Yeah, man. So obviously it's no secret, everything that's happening in the world, and whether you believe one way or another, it's indifferent to me, because the most important thing is to just be grounded, just be here. Be physically present, be aware, because, I found myself, I'd get on social media, I'd start reading a whole bunch of things, and, friends and family just tearing each other apart, and, just over little ticky-tacky stuff, like a GIF someone wanted to just have a good laugh about, and so I think we get lost a bit too much into the minutia of like, who's right, who's wrong, fact check this, is this a scientist? Everyone seems to be a news anchor. Everyone seems to be a scientist nowadays, and so it's just so important to just sometimes cut out all that noise, because it is noise, because the most important thing for us to realize, at least in my belief, is how we respond to all of this, right? How you respond when no one else is around you. How are you accepting everything that you're downloading? Okay. Yeah. Because if you're reading like 90% of negative stuff, guess what? You're going to be in a negative state of consciousness. It sounds pretty simple, but we forget that, we forget these simple ways of being. So if you're feeding yourself more uplifting, inspiring stuff majority of the time, guess what? You're going to have thoughts and emotions that match that vibration. And then you're more attuned to stay grounded and here to where, it's not that you just ignore what's happening. You just don't let it affect you as much.
Yeah. So obviously, as you said, what we're going through right now is just crazy. I feel like the world has gone mad. But
Yes.
But there have been situations like this before. Obviously, depending on how old or how young you are, you may not have experienced that. But there's been little inklings of craziness at certain parts. But what we're in right now, is unprecedented. We've never had anything quite like this. My question to you is this: throughout all of this negativity, is there scope for creativity?
100%. 100%.
The reason I asked that question before is because I think I sort of, when we spoke earlier on, I sort of said it to you then, that the only reason that I am where I am right now is actually because of the pandemic. So the pandemic stopped me doing my regular, normal job, because obviously I was then furloughed and I wasn't working. So in a really difficult situation where the world's gone crazy and there's lots of horrible things going on in the world, I ended up creating something. And I started doing a bit of research about this because it really fascinated me, because I was thinking to myself, how is it that the whole world is going crazy and yet I'm doing something that's actually positive rather than negative? So I started doing a bit of research, and it turns out that there's been a lot of things where we may have been at war. So say our country went to war with another country, there would be creativity out of that. Obviously, it's horrible what's happened,
yep.
But then it's almost out of that comes something amazing. Now, 100%. I'm not saying that my channel is amazing. I'm just saying that if we allow ourselves to be swallowed up by the negativity, it will literally drown out our ability to be creative. Yep. And it's taken me I'm going to say how old I am. It's taken me many decades to work that out. I'm right there with you, man. I know we shouldn't regret. And one of my best friends always has a go at me because I used to be the guy that would say, if only I'd done this then. Oh, I wish I had done that then. My life would be so different. And it's quite amazing that I've got to this stage now. I'm like, wow, actually, this has happened. It's really bad. And there's lots of things that have happened, but something else has happened. And I think the point I was trying to make is there was the example of a pearl, and it says that a pearl is created through irritation. So something beautiful comes literally out of carnage. Absolutely. But for you, as you have clients, you talk to them, what has been your impression of their mentality in this negativity? Have they been able to detach themselves from the negativity, or have they been swallowed up by it?
I think you've got a bit of both, and a continuation. Just because sometimes we look at life as we're looking for the quick fix, right? We're looking for something to make us feel great, and then everything's okay. But just like the analogy of before a diamond's made, it's put under an extreme amount of pressure. And before it becomes a gem. I look at the pandemic, I look at everything that's happening as there's always a silver lining there. Where there's a midst of chaos going on, in the outside world and stuff, that doesn't mean you have to participate in that. That means that, at least in my eyes, I feel very strongly, and Johnny, you're a representation of this, that certain individuals are hearing the call, hearing their purpose and hearing their vision, and are given an opportunity, sadly, the way it was presented, but given an opportunity to really step into their greatness, step into their power, and do something they haven't ever done before, which is, not be consumed about all the negativity happening in the world, but to be in the state of creation that'll help you kind of stay motivated and provide value. Because your channel, man, I mean, you're inspiring tons of people. I remember when I first saw your channel, I was like, who is this dude, man? How do I get my stuff on his how do I get my video up there on his thing? Because I mean, it's legit. And so hindsight, I don't ever want to wish anything horrible upon anybody.
No.
But a lot of my clients that I work with and stuff, you know, they've been through, you couldn't even imagine, you know, but the beautiful part about that is it's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of how we look at it, what we choose to adopt, what we choose to be, and, you know, how we want to feel at the end of the day.
So do you, obviously, I know that, do you believe that there is a constant state of chaos? Or
yeah, I do. You know, I'm trying to.
Your title is How to Stay Grounded Through Chaos, but it wasn't through chaos at this time. It gave the impression that it's always there. Is that right? Okay.
So, you know, when we go back and we talk about energy, I mean, you know, let's say you didn't have the news, right? Let's say the news just didn't exist at all. You know, there's still a lot of horrible things that are happening in the world.
Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of amazing things that are happening into the world. And, you know, just to keep it very simple, when you work with energy and things like that and work with our thoughts and our emotions, you know, if you're sitting there having like horrible thoughts, you watch something that just threw you off your game, you know, you're going to draw more of that to you. You're going to draw more chaos within your field of awareness, you know, and you're going to have thoughts matching those type of vibrations, you know, just within your psyche all of the time. And so, you know, it would happen with or without the news, with or without social media. You know, I believe that there's a certain chaos that an energy wave, you know, or an energy blanket you could call, that you just tap into, you know, if you so wanted to feel that way, right? And it's kind of like that with different states of consciousness as well. So
I almost feel like when I was a young boy, the news was accurate. And I feel now that we are either being fed propaganda or it's fake news.
Yep.
And it's more difficult now to actually see what is genuinely accurate.
Yep.
But or is it that we as a people have just become more cynical of the you know, the ruling powers? Have we now become more cynical of, you know, we don't just take, someone tells you something, I believe it. We now question it a lot more. Is that, do you believe that and is that as a result of the chaos? Very quickly, hello Charity Tamara DIY, thank you so much for being here. We have Tyce Chamberlain in the house today. If you don't know who he is, definitely check out his content. Actually, I should put I don't think I have your name on the screen, so sorry about that. I thought I had. I've only just noticed that. Let me put your name on there. Do you have your name written down on there by any chance?
I think so. Yes. I'm afraid to click something, so I don't want to.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry then. Yeah, it's one of those things where I thought our there we go. Yeah. So if you don't know, I should have announced. We've been speaking for such a long period of time now. But the amazing gentleman we have on the screen is Tyce Chamberlain. That's the name of his channel. And Arcs Junction, thank you so much, has just dropped his link. So if you don't know who Tyce Chamberlain is, definitely check out his channel. So yeah, so obviously we were talking about, because I found this one the most interesting, because I think that it gave me the idea that this whole experience called life is chaos. from the get-go, our bodies are fighting aging. You know, obviously the cells are trying to reproduce. You know, at the molecular level, our bodies are battling. We're fighting from diseases. We're fighting, you know, there are diseases outside the body. There are diseases already dormant in the body. You know, there are so many things that are affecting us, and we don't always. We still carry on with life, because if we was to worry about all those things, we would become part of the chaos. But you said being grounded, and I just thought, well, to be grounded is a sense of peace. There's a certain element of security. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I believe you can have security just because of what's going on around us. What's your take on that?
I think my take of it is to know of the world, just don't be of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it goes back to simplistic things, right?
No, you hit the nail right on the head.
Because it's like the world's going to do its thing. The news is going to portray a one-sided perception all the time. And I actually find it important for us to, as a human race, to start questioning everything. I think that's part of the next human evolution of consciousness, is to really discover truth for ourselves, and to not just adopt other people's belief because they said so, right? But to really kind of discover and find out for ourselves, not just because you could find a debate for anything, right? And it's to not just find out the information, but to find the root, the genesis of really what it is, and be able to take a scientific approach and be like, even though this isn't going to give me what I want to hear, I have to be true with the truth. You know what I mean? So that's kind of my take on that. It's like people ask me all the time, why don't you watch the news? And I tell them it's not because I can't handle it. It's just because I look at myself kind of like a computer, and it's like, if I'm feeding myself all this information, will I have the ability to just purge this from memory and just stay in a state of inspiration instead of memory, right? Yeah. And the answer usually is no. You're going to have a hard time. It's going to take 3 beers and a whiskey shot thinking about all that, and then I get into suppressing my emotions instead of expressing it. So
yeah, I think that there was a period, I think it was around March, around that sort of time, where every day in the news was about the death, the numbers of people that had died from the virus. Yeah. And on a daily basis, the numbers were just going up and up and up. And I'm not joking, it got more and more depressing because I'd opened a door, and that door allowed this negativity to come in. Yep. And speaking from personal experience, the moment I shut that door, and I now only follow, what would you call that word? News flashes, if that makes sense. So I have an app on my phone. It sends me a news flash, so a header, and I can choose to open it or not. I look at the header and I think, is that something that needs to be processed by the brain? Go. Let me take it in. If it's something that I just have no interest in whatsoever, it just gets completely discarded. Now, what I found when I started my YouTube journey was, for me to do this journey, for me to actually take this on board and make this my job. So I had to make this a process. I had to say to myself, am I going to, whilst I am at the mercy of, in a sense, the government, being paid because I can't go to work. Yep. Am I going to fill my mind with Netflix? Am I going to fill my mind with Disney films? Am I going to fill my mind with Amazon? And for a short period of time, I did. And what happened was, I literally got sick of just taking in nonsense. I know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I think that everything has its place, and entertainment does have its place. But what I found was that the minute I switched that off and started focusing on me, as in focusing on creating something for myself, my eyes were opened. It literally opened my eyes to not just going onto YouTube and looking at funny cats, actually going onto YouTube and finding content creators that were going to educate me to make me better, or educate me to understand how to do what I need to do and do it properly. Very sorry, by Remote. Remote's saying he's going to have to go. We'll put him on the screen. Remote, thank you so much. Really, really do appreciate you being here. It's a the thing is, we said this before, we start getting into a conversation, we forget we're live.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I can only apologize, guys. I've probably missed loads of questions. Arcs Junction's just gone. I've been doing the same. Yeah, we do. We tend to get. There was a choice. Now, I've noticed this, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but maybe it's because of our genres are slightly different. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed in the last maybe month or so, lots of new content creators coming onto YouTube. And I feel almost like they've missed the boat, because they've come at the it's almost like they did the I'm off work now, I'm going to just lounge, I'm going to hang out with, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm going to just get fat because I'm not looking after myself. I'm going to do all these silly little things that have no basis. And just when they think, wow, I better now, maybe I could go, self-employed on YouTube, they're doing it now. And I feel like, wow, like even when I started, I felt I was late. And I started in March. In March of this year, I started my YouTube journey and I felt like I was late. And the reason I say that is because my channel was created in 2006. So you have to understand, I've had a channel for a very, very long time, just sitting there. So, and this is where I said to you, my friend always has a go at me, because I constantly think, if I had started this in 2006, where would I be right now? But there's no point me to, because I believe that my mindset wasn't ready for that.
It wasn't.
It wasn't ready.
I feel I'm big into there are no coincidences. Things happen for a reason, and a lot of times it's beyond our understanding.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of times you'll see me introducing, peace beyond all understanding, right? And it's just because certain things just happen in our life we can't explain, but we just got to trust that inspiration that comes. And when it does, just stay within the moments and continue creating. You know what I mean?
Hello to you. Good evening, Mark Fraser. Thank you so much for joining the stream. It's my first live stream in nearly 2 weeks, I think. And we have on the screen Tyce Chamberlain, who has some absolutely amazing subjects, has, the research you do for your content. Your videos must take hours to prepare just to get the content together. I mean, do you write a script? I mean, what is your... how does your video come into being?
So there's a lot of prep work that is probably different for everyone, obviously. Like if I was on a gaming channel, it'd be pretty easy to kind of get videos out and content and create on the fly. But for me, I want every single one of my videos to impact, just because I think about one person who might be inspired, who might change their life just based off of that. Suicide rates gone up, abuse has gone up, and there's so many things in the world at large that, people are just struggling with right now, wondering if there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And so when I kind of prepare to create a video, I'll only put out a video that feels right, given the time, the circumstances at large, how I feel about what's happening in the world and what might be able to inspire people. So I wake up early in the morning. I meditate for a long period of time, just to gather my thoughts. And then I'll, get some type of inspiration, and it might just happen that day. And I'll just write 3 or 4 scripts in my mind. I have them, I'm ready to go, and then I just kind of wait to see how I feel. And if I feel so inclined to drop a video at that time, then I'll do it. If I don't, and it feels a little forced, then I kind of hold back a little bit. So, and I know that's not the typical way. If you're trying to grow a YouTube channel, I mean, you want to, there's always that saying, quantity is better than quality, or, maybe quality is better than quantity. And there's kind of that debate that goes back and forth. But for me, it's a little bit different, just because, I just want to create, like you had mentioned in your videos, that evergreen content, something that's going to last, 5, 10, 15 years from now. And so maybe someone sees this 5 years from now and it changes their life. So, that's kind of the way I do it. In terms of scripting and things, I don't really try and script it out. I try and just go,
So what, your videos are just you talking?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just going.
I didn't know that. I thought you had like a teleprompter or something that you were reading and so you're just going out there and just talking about it.
Yeah, early on in my videos, I would script it out. That's why there's a lot of cuts and things. And I just discovered I am not the best editor. I think all of us who create videos, we understand how long the editing process can be.
Yeah.
Right. And so I just discovered early on, if I'm scripting and I have to cut, it just takes so much time to edit.
Yeah.
So I just took it upon myself, have little notes here and there, make sure I'm on track, make sure I'm not talking for an hour, right? and then I just kind of let it flow. I let it flow.
Yeah. So, right, we've talked about being grounded in chaos. Yeah. You've talked about, navigating that. Mm-hmm. Toxic people, is that the result of the chaos?
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about toxic people have to go? Because I think that was that was my introduction to your content on my live show, because the first video I saw was that video, and I didn't know whether I could play it or not. And I remember the whole thing.
That was
Can
funny.
I play this? I
remember you asked
okay?
me, Tyce, are you there? Like, is this PG, bro? Like, because it looks intense.
Obviously, as you know, I run a very, very tidy ship. It's got to be PG. I'm very, very conscious of offending people. I want to keep, and I don't potentially want to knock anyone's noses out of joint in that sense. So even before we spoke, when we spoke earlier on, I said, this is my parameters for the conversation. I don't want to go too preachy. I don't want to, but I still think there's value in what you're saying without having to get into the deeper realms of what you talk about. I still think there is value in the discussions that we've had today. I genuinely believe are really, really helpful. And what Grethel loves to share, I'm looking forward to watching your videos. I can tell you now that when you go there, you'll be absolutely amazed at the things that are being on such a great level. Really, really good content. So talk to me a little bit more about your take on the toxicity in people.
Yeah, again, I'm just pulling from experience. Just growing up, I had everyone wanted to be my friend, and I had something that not a lot of people would do. I actually listened to people. I would listen to people. I was there for them. I was empathetic. I was, and then I found out, these people would just start, just gossiping, saying things that were way out of context, just, getting in situations where it made me made me feel horrible for just speaking and listening to people, and so I just pulled from experience and, just working with, different clients as well. Certain people, they have, toxic relationships. That could be a spouse. It could be a family member. It could be a roommate. It could be whatever the case might be, a coworker, a boss, and, I've been very privileged with me and my wife just to help out, many people in these last 3-4 years. And I've seen it a lot where a lot of times people are just dealing with situations that they don't need to be in and they feel trapped. And, so that video, it's one of my popular ones. It still is gaining like 40, 50 views a day, I think, something like that.
It's amazing.
It's still going good. And
I think you hit the nail on the head, partly because, and this is my take on it. Obviously, correct me if I'm wrong, but we talked about the pandemic and we've talked about people have their whole routine, and I use the word routine because that's what I think it is. We've gone onto autopilot. We work.
Yep.
We go to work. We go home. We go on holiday. Vacation. We then repeat. We go back to work, and we do those things on autopilot because obviously the system needs us to be doing what we need to do: work, pay the bills,
plugged into the matrix. Yep.
Exactly. We're going to get to that. So. We've been on autopilot. However, the autopilot switch got turned off once the pandemic happened. Once the pandemic came into play, all of the social norms got thrown out because everything that we were so used to doing, suddenly we could no longer do anymore. And I feel like if you're in the plane and it's on autopilot, it got switched off. And suddenly, as human beings, we were in control of our own lives again. It was almost like a veil was opened. That's part of the reason why I used the example of Morpheus with the red and the blue pill, because I genuinely believe that when the pandemic hit and the social norms, everyone couldn't go to work, there were things that people couldn't do, you can't go here, you can't be around people, people started to realize that they were okay if they hadn't seen someone that they thought they needed to be with.
Yep.
They were okay when they couldn't do something that they thought they had to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I thought we became almost sentient again.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that we're going to go back. I do believe that once this new normal becomes the old normal, the autopilot button will get switched back on again. But I think right now, we're in a very, very particular part of the human experience where we're actually able to see the wood for the trees, I think is the saying. We're actually seeing things. And now this is my obviously I said I'm going on a bit, but this was my point. Has it become apparent now to people more that they are able to see toxicity in people. Where before they may see a glass of water and say that's a glass of water, but now they can say, actually, that's a glass of sulfuric acid. That's a glass of hydrochloric acid. That's not actually water. Are they able? Is it because we've got more time, or that things are not distracting us, that we're now seeing toxic relationships? Because you've got to remember, as we've already said, suicides have gone through the roof. Relationship breakups have gone through the roof. I'm talking, it's quite scary, the number of relationships that have quite literally just derailed since this period has happened. So could you talk to me a little bit about that, please?
Yeah, you're spot on. The pandemic has shown us that, it's broken the patterns of us being ourselves. Mm-hmm. It's breaking the pattern of, you being you and going to work and talking with the same people, dealing with the same clients, whatever the case might be. And here's the thing is that when you do something over and over and over, you're training your subconscious mind. And so based on your feelings, your thoughts and everything, you're programming yourself. And then you, like you had mentioned, you're just an autopilot. Mm-hmm. You're an autopilot as you drive somewhere. And next thing you know, it's like, how did I get here? It's that's it. That's your subconscious mind that can just download billions of bits of data every second, where our conscious mind can only download 42 bits a second, Mm-hmm. And so when we get back to, has this really helped people become more aware? Because that's really what it is. Become more aware of the situations at hand. And what usually happens is that, you hear like sages, monks, you hear all these people talking about, hey, you should meditate. And I'm a big fan of meditation. And the primary reason of it is because when you silence the mind and when you dig deep into the recesses of who you are, you start to discover things of the old programming, the habitual way of being that doesn't serve you. I started finding out that people who I thought were my friends actually just used me for different reasons. And I would not have known that unless I provided enough space within my awareness to witness that for myself. And so with the pandemic, people are spending more time with themselves. Once they've watched all the Netflix they can watch, once they've done everything they possibly can, people are becoming real with themselves, and they're starting to be aware and come to that realization that, holy cow, they have been taking advantage of me, and I didn't know that before. So.
Just very, very quickly, Arcs Junction, it was lovely listening to you guys. Need to leave now. We'll watch the rest tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Take care. Arcs Junction is in India, so we have someone from. So it's pretty quite late there over there now. So thank you so much for joining us and spending some time with us in the stream today. We really do appreciate you. It's been a great show so far, so thank you so much. A question or a statement from Big B. It makes you wonder if they will come out with a red or a blue vaccine. Brilliant. Well done on that one. Well done, Big B.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's very clever.
I honestly believe that we have a very rare opportunity here.
There's a window.
That window, and I think that's part of the reason why the system as we know it is being broken down, because I think we've got to the stage where we don't trust our politicians, we don't trust the social norms. We're sick and tired of watching a billionaire live his lifestyle. How can a person with £1 billion have all this money and waste it on, building a house for his dog, when you've got starving people in, shanty towns in Africa, in Asia, and you think, how can that possibly be fair? I can't understand that. And I feel like we are now starting to see that more. My only worry is that before we really get to the stage where we would potentially, reboot the system, the powers that be will reignite, will plug us back in and we'll end up being back in the matrix, if that makes sense. But as I said, because we've been going through your videos, that leads us nicely on to, do we live in the matrix? This is, believe it or not, I think the last video that I specifically wanted to speak about. Obviously, we've gone through quite a few of your videos here, but it links into the whole idea of what we see is reality, what's going on in the world today. Could you like to talk to us about that, please?
Yeah, I think it's important for us to recognize that, you know, we all live on one planet. We all live in one, like on this earth. Okay. And so we also all have our own worldview, our own reality that plays out, you know, here we are. But then you have certain individuals and, you know, the media, call it whatever you want, that let's say that you were given the opportunity, Johnny, to be able to broadcast whatever you want to billions of people. That's your perspective, man. I know what I would be doing. I'd be looking to inspire people. I mean, could you imagine? Let's just take that back for a moment. Could you imagine if the news, just for one day, you know, just took the opportunity and just showed all this inspiring things? You know, that just goes to show you the power at which, you know, the matrix can have you. So in my understanding and from my journey and from what I perceive is that we most definitely live in a matrix. It's whether or not you want to recognize that, for one, to be aware of that. And secondly, whether or not you want to unplug from that. And then it's like, if I unplug from that, what does that actually mean? And for me, it's simple. It means that you're going to gain back your own power. You're going to gain back your own control. You're going to do what you want to do. It doesn't matter what the news or anyone shares with you, you know, it doesn't matter. You're going to go after it. And I feel that during the pandemic is a small window, like we talked about, which has given us an opportunity to really step into that, right? Step into that, or to live in a fear-based mentality, which is, I can't do that. You know, because if we let fear just kind of guide us, like it has done for many of decades, you know, you can see what happens. You can see what happens. But if we actually go after what we want to and just kick fear to the face, right? Then it's amazing what happens. I mean, think about if you and I didn't, if we were too scared to start a YouTube channel. You know?
Yeah. I feel like we have, we are all part of the system.
Yep.
You know, we all have a you know, social security number. We've already been, in a sense, and I know that I use the matrix link, but you know, that social security number is like the barcode. It is like our identification number. We have already got, you know, for us in the UK, that would be our national insurance number. For you guys, that's your social security number. I believe it's the same thing. We already haven't. So from birth, you have a number. And that number is yours for the rest of your life. Yep. Until you die, that is your number. We have forever gone to school. If you don't go to school and you're not home taught, your parents could be imprisoned for it. Mm-hmm. You have to go to school. And when you're at school, they teach you certain things. You're indoctrinated in certain things. You know, we're not beating around the bush here. This is reality. There are lots of things that they teach you. They don't teach you how to look after, you know, your finances. Yep. They don't want you to. They don't want you to know how to look after finances because they want you to live in perpetual debt. So they won't teach you how to be good with money. They'll teach you how to spend it. Big B wrote, Osho has 90 Rolls Royces. So that links into what I was saying before, that obviously in this matrix, there is the 1%, actually 0.0000% that has the same amount as the rest of us. Yep. That is, in my opinion, immoral. I can't, my brain can't,
completely agree.
My brain cannot accept that. Yep. And I can totally understand why people get angry at the disproportionate of wealth and the fact that, you know, I don't want you to give me, you know, when you see these big financial, you know, names giving money. Oh, I'm a philanthropist. You're only giving from because you don't want to get taxed on it. You know, you buy a painting because obviously once you bought a painting, there's no tax. It's just a painting. You know, you buy expensive things because then, you know, if I have $1 bazillion in the bank, I've got to put it somewhere. And if I put it somewhere, it's going to get taxed, which means I don't want to tax it. So what do? I buy a painting and I spend as much of my money on that painting as humanly possible. It's It's money. It's saved. It's there. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. Very quickly, hello, Thrifty Angela. Oh, my days. Thrifty Angela, you have missed an amazing show. If you do not know the man on the screen, Tyce Chamberlain, check out his content. It is off the chain, as they say. But how are you doing? Thank you so much for popping in and saying hello to us. So I've seen a question here. Could going off the grid align with unplug from the Matrix? So are you talking about, doomsday prepper type off the grid? Because there was a TV show, I don't know if it's still being played, called the Doomsday Preppers, and these were guys who would store lots of money and lots of food, and they would have all their food in a building somewhere, and they would be completely off the grid, waiting for the next major disaster. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that would work, but then you also still need to be you are still part of this world. So I don't know, it's probably a way of, you have to be part of the world, but not. You're in it.
I can actually answer that question, at least from my experience, because it's a great question. I actually, surprisingly, I get asked that quite a bit. Yeah. It's like, how can we unplug from the Matrix, Ty? Yeah. And for me, and it's different with everyone. Just know that, this isn't the way that it needs to be done. But I actually took, you could call it like a fast of social media and the news. I cut all that out.
How long?
You still with me?
Yeah. How long?
Oh, I did that for about, probably 4 or 5 months. And it was crazy. It was crazy. Everyone thought I was dead. People were like, what's going on? But I was so determined, Johnny. I wanted to find out what I was made out of. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to change. And I knew that to make a change, it's got to start with me first. When you fly, I used to travel quite a bit before the pandemic and things, you watch those safety videos and it's like, hey, in lieu of this happening, you take care of yourself first, you put the mask on, then you help someone else. The same rule applies with everything, man. So I had to pull myself off the grid, so to speak. And that for me was social media, the news, talking with certain people, and just really discovering what I was made out of. So like I said, you don't need to do that. It's not like that for everyone, but for me specifically, I kind of dive deep into things. And so, that's what helped me out.
So, as Big B said, it doesn't necessarily mean having to, become a hermit and, go completely off the grid, drink your own urine, that kind of thing.
No, man. I'm not drinking my own urine, I'll tell you that.
So I don't think it's that extreme. Hey, so Thrifty Angela with the kids, kids are done with school and wanted to come and by and say hello. Thank you so much, Thrifty Angela. I really do appreciate that. I really do want to get Thrifty Angela on the show, but it's just about the timing. Obviously, where she is in America, and obviously she has the children at home because they're not at school because of the virus. They're being taught at home, so she doesn't have the opportunity to be able to just get in on the live. But I will get you on the show one day. We will work it out somehow. I'm almost certain we can do it. Not sure how, but obviously that would be absolutely awesome if we could. So, Tyce, the Matrix. We are in the Matrix. So the Matrix is real, as in the same way as the movie with Neo and the Morpheus and that kind of thing. Right. So we have seen an increase in unrest. The world seems to be more angry. There is more rioting, more protesting. There is more pretty much anger, whether it be on a racial level, whether it be on a social level, whatever the rate that religious. There's lots of different things that are going on right now that are affecting the norm.
Sure.
Now we talked about earlier on. I think all of the things that we've talked about, with toxicity, with all of the negativity that's going on around you, the chaos, is what's going on right now because the Matrix is failing.
Yes. Yeah. So when we deal with human evolution, when you deal with any type of evolution, okay, old structures that were built on greed and power come to an end. They fall apart. It's with anything. You can go back in history and look at how things were meant. Whenever humans, species or evolution meets a certain criteria, for us, I believe it's in technology. We were reaching a certain point where it's like, we're talking about artificial intelligence being smarter than the human, and so it's like, yeah, well, actually, if the human can tap into their subconscious mind, then nothing can touch us, right? But yeah, I do see the matrix crumbling. I do see a desperate need to continue to keep people in a state of fear, because if you keep people in a state of fear, right, then you can control them. It's that simple. Because people, they do crazy things when they're scared. I mean, you hear sadly of people, doing things that they regret, which has landed them in prison for doing something that they'd never done before in their life, but they were fearful. Something happened that triggered them. They did something horrible. So if you see a lot of things like you had just mentioned that are just, hey, this is how the world is, be afraid, then just be aware of that, be kind of take a step back and look through that and just be like, how is this affecting me? Yeah. And something helped me out 100% is I take 100% accountability of everything I see, and what that means is that, if something's going on horrible in the world, I take accountability of that and I work on myself and my own worldview to see how I can help heal that, and to help heal that perspective and just to work on me and, and then to start spreading what I've learned with others.
So keeping in mind your outlook on life, do you take any part in politics?
I don't. Someone was telling me the other day, they're like, you're so far on the right side. And another guy was telling me the other day, you're so far on the left side. I'm like, man, it's the same dang bird, bro. Like, I don't know, like if you were to line up politics and have a full list, and I'm sure that it's out there of like what you believe in and you fall in this category, I bet you if people are honest with themselves, they go back and forth, right? So it's like hard to say if you're one way or the other, and so I don't really play too much in politics, primarily just because like just the way I am, just being in the present moment, being in the now, I can kind of see through a lot of the silliness. I mean, it's called politics for a reason, right? And so I'm like you, knowing that there's certain families out there who could help solve world hunger, but they have golden houses, all over the planet for no reason at all. It just kind of makes you stop and go,
That kind of doesn't make sense. I've seen that 50 Angela says that I don't do politics anymore. It's pointless. And the Cruz family, hey Cruz, how are you doing? How are you? I hope that I am, because I'm hoping to get the Cruz family on the show at some point as well. So that would be awesome. So I'm looking forward to getting them, nailing them down to a date. They haven't got back to me yet. But yeah, the reason I asked that question about politics is because obviously politics is just another structure to keep us, to separate us, and to keep, if I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat, then we are on opposite sides of a coin. And I can't agree with your beliefs, you can't agree with mine. And yet there are lots of things that if we just took a step back and realized that there is no government that can look after us, not one.
Nope.
There's no world governments or any good. And I don't mean that, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, because obviously they have a function. They do. At the end of the day, we work, we pay our taxes. Those taxes are used to fund certain things. And I get that. I understand that. I don't like the idea that my taxes will fund certain things that I don't agree with, but I have no choice in that part. I don't say to myself, well, I'm not going to pay taxes because that goes to pay for the military. I haven't got a choice of what my taxes are paid for. I just pay my taxes, and I pay them because I know that that's what they're there for. But apart from that, I kind of stay completely away from all of it because I don't want to make an enemy for no reason. I don't want to. If your view is, if you said, right, I don't like brown or black people, I don't like Asians. Well, as long as I stay out of your way and you stay out of mine, we can still share this planet. I may not agree with your beliefs. I may think that you're crazy for disliking me just purely on the color of my skin. Dislike me because I'm an idiot, or dislike me because I'm offensive, or dislike me because I've done something wrong to you. But don't just dislike me just because you don't like the color of my skin, because the color of my skin is just genetics. That is all it is. We have the same brains. We have we can still bleed. I mean, we can still die. I mean, there's so many crazy things. And I always say that if aliens turned up, say that a spaceship out of the sky just landed right now, that would be when we'd suddenly all realize that we're human. Because they go, yeah, you're all on one planet, and yeah, you know, you don't say that you know, if you've got a regular house cat, a regular ordinary house cat comes in different colors.
Yep.
They're just all cats, right? They're just cats. You know, we don't look and go, oh, I'm gonna now be rude to that black cat because that black cat is black, but I'm gonna be nice to the ginger cat because I like ginger cats. Really? Are we? Yep. We have to get to that stage where we are better than that. Obviously,
so true.
Obviously, the Matrix has been around for a long time. We celebrate, you know, people who have perpetuated the Matrix. You know, world leaders that have done great things. Oh wow, we love, you know, Eisenhower. Oh, we love Churchill. But they are just they're just cogs in the wheel of the Matrix, just still continuing it. Well, now we have in this country Boris Johnson, in your country, who's the president of your country? I forgot his name now. Trump. Now, I heard today on the news that Donald Trump has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I don't know if you've heard that. But you wouldn't have heard it because you're not in tune with the news. I heard it because it was a news flash that Donald Trump has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, when I heard that, I thought, is that fake news? Could be. Is it crazy news? Could be. Or should I, and this is the thing that scared me the most, or should I just expect it because this world is crazy anyway? So why wouldn't he be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize? Because we've already got to the stage where the people who are ruling the world are crazy, and everything that we see around us is falling apart.
It totally is. I mean, you look at even like the food pyramid plan that they have. I mean, that's kind of crumbling down. You look at big pharma. I mean, that's kind of crumbling down. You look at all these big establishments that, you know, at least here in America and in the world, you know, people believe in these structures that they were set up for reasons. And you know, you just do a little bit of homework and do a little bit of due diligence. You can start to see through a lot of things and see how other people are associated with other big companies and things of that nature, you know. And, you know, some people look at that as, oh, you're talking conspiracy. But you know, I would tell that person, and I tell them all the time, you know, go look up how the word conspiracy came to be. Yeah. And then let's have another conversation about it, you know. But the fact still remains. I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, Johnny, is that the Matrix is crumbling. And we do have a window of opportunity now to really step into that in which we know ourselves to be and to go after what we want to right now, because it's a perfect time to do it. In my opinion.
So I don't know if you know, but Grethel loves to share. She is in Norway, and I think the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony is held in Norway. So if the news is true, and obviously, guys, if you know better or you know, but I'm just certain I heard that he has been nominated. But if that's fake news, I apologize, because obviously I don't want to pass on bad news. But if it's real news, then it just goes to show you that the Nobel Peace Prize, because I always find it funny. I want the Nobel Peace Prize to be given to people who seek peace, who do something to help the fellow man. I believe that the person that creates the vaccination for the current COVID epidemic should get the Peace Prize because of the lives that will save. I believe that someone who finds a cure for cancer should get the Peace Prize because of the people's lives that they have saved. I do not believe that it should be given just routinely out to. Anyway, I don't want to get too into it. What I'm saying to you guys is that the things that we take as norms, the social norms, they're all crumbling.
Yep. I
have my views as to why they are. You have your views as to why they are. One thing I do know is that we're in agreement. It's definitely crumbling. We both know that this can't carry on. However, I believe that the Matrix will try its very best to reignite.
It'll try.
It will try. And I believe that the way in which it is doing it is to sow discord between. It's sowing mistrust. It's sowing hate. It's trying its best to keep us split apart.
Yep.
It's splitting us up on racial. You've got the Black Lives Matters movement. You've got, racial, Antifa. You've got all these different organizations that are out there, and they are groups designed to separate us. Mm-hmm. When I hope, and I don't, New Big B says that we need a new Earth 2020. We need to fix the one we're on right now. We need to clean our water. We need to clean our environment. We need to stop making plastic. We need to stop poisoning our children with drugs. We need to start making clean food that is not genetically modified. There are so many things that we need to do because we have quite literally poisoned our earth. We need to leave the earth to heal itself, because we are raping the waters of the sea with its fish, not allowing it to respawn. We're killing animals. How many animals are being extinct every day because of our desire to build, to create new, maybe whether it's, I don't know what's the whether it be maize fields or whether we're creating for making oil. We're doing so many things to just ruin what we have. That
so true.
You have children. I have children. I look and think, what earth do they get? It is the responsibility of a parent to make their life better for their children. As a parent, you want to give your children what you didn't have. Mm-hmm. And your parents or your adoptive parents, their parents had less than your parents. You want to to grow. You want to have more than your parents. I don't mean it as in I want to be richer than them, but you want to be more. You want to know that their education, their raising you wasn't wasted. You've done better, and you want better for your children, don't you? Well, why is it that we say that for our children, but we don't say that for the earth? And that's what I don't get. I don't understand how we do that. But that's, again, part of the Matrix.
I think it just comes back to bringing awareness around exactly what you just preached, man, because you're spot on. You're 100% spot on, and I agree with everything you've said, because it's a lot of people get stuck in their patterns like we talked about earlier on the show. You get stuck in the norm, you get stuck in social conditioning, you get stuck in thinking a certain way and not realizing that truth could be staring you in the face, but you have to come to realize and accept that instead of just kind of modifying it. Whether or not you like it or you don't, you have to accept the truth as it stands by itself.
Yeah. So. I know Big B said, is that sustainable? No. We live in a finite world. There are things that we cannot break. We've tried to. We know that if we plant food today, 3 months, 4 months down the road, it will grow. It will produce what we've planted. So what did we do? We genetically modified the seed so that we can get more crop.
There you go.
We genetically modified the earth so the soil would produce more, not realizing that by doing that, we're destroying the soil. There are lots of things that we have done. And our grandchildren will look at us and say, what did you do? What
Seriously.
did you do? Exactly. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I have to. This is the saddest thing about this, because obviously we could talk all night. I know we could.
Oh, yeah, all night.
But this show is a 2-hour show.
Has it been 2 hours already?
It has been 2 hours. It's
Holy
gone.
God, that went by fast.
It has gone so quickly. It has been an absolutely amazing show. Tyce Chamberlain, if you don't mind, I would absolutely love it if I could have you on the show again. We definitely are gonna. We've gone through your content up until this date. No doubt we'll just have to do a run through of the new content in 3-6 months time. We'll do another run through and we'll just go through stuff and we'll just talk about it. And I think that would be absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Your knowledge is just awesome and amazing. And guys, if you do not know, or if you have, if you've not been to Tyce Chamberlain's channel, make sure you check out the content. It is amazing. Really, really good good stuff. You will not be disappointed. There's the stuff that he talks about is just on a different level, but it gets you to think, and that's the most important thing. It gets you to think about other options. You know, why is things happening the way they are? We don't know, but we have a theory. There are theories that Tyce talks about. I genuinely think that you would be, you know, just to hear another opinion. You know, that's all it is. You know, we have to make our own minds up because we are sentient beings. We can make up our own minds, but just hearing another opinion, there's no harm in that. Go check out Tyce Chamberlain's channel. Guys, that has been just an epic show. On Friday, same time, I will be interviewing the amazing Candidly V. She is another live streamer who her channel has grown from strength to strength. She's an amazing YouTuber, and I'm looking forward to having her on the show on Friday. So if you can tune in with us, it's going to be a great show. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about, and we are going to be grilling her, and it's going to be a great show. So if you can hang out with us, that'd be awesome. Tyce, is there anything you'd like to say in conclusion before we end the live?
Man, I just want to give a big thanks out to you, Mr. Johnny 25. Seriously, when I saw you, whenever that first day was, I never forgot. I'm like, man, this guy's got something special. Him and Miss Morris, they're going places. I just hope to be part of their journey somehow, some way. And next thing I know, I'm on a live show with you. So I appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
You're one of a kind. I can't wait to see your success, and I'd be more than happy to be on another show with you, man. So.
Listen, it will definitely 100% happen. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. Truth is out there, as Mark Fraser has put. Yes, in more ways than one. The truth is definitely out there.
It's out there, man.
Okay, so Tyce, thank you so much, and to all of you amazing, wonderful people, I really do appreciate every single one of you. I thank you so much for being here today. This has been a great show. Tyce, listen, take care, man, and until the next time, guys, take care. God bless. All of you be safe, and I'll see you in the next show. Wow.
Amazing.